Little Adam tries to burn President Trump. What Nunes does next crushes his ego, by US4Trump.com. Thursday, during a public House Intelligence Committee hearing, Representative Adam Schiff had a meltdown on the floor after getting struck down by Republicans and Representative Devin Nunes. Schiff publicly disrupted the hearing to change the subject and try to subpoena the interpreter who accompanied President Trump earlier this week for a private meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The hearing held was about a Chinese threat to the U.S. government and private sector. However, just like Democrats, they all seem to know how to do is disrupt and resist. After Chairman Devin Nunes delivered his opening remarks, Schiff used his opportunity to bring up the extraordinary circumstances in which President Trump chose to waive inviting his national security advisors and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to his 2-hour meeting with Putin in Helsinki. We moved to subpoena the interpreter to come before our committee. I regret that we have to raise this at today's hearing. We have requested a business hearing next week, but that request has been declined. This may be our last opportunity before we go into an extended recess to vote to subpoena the interpreter, Schiff said. Nunes shot back, telling Schiff that he can only make a motion during a hearing to adjourn. Let's watch the, here is his Adam Schiff breaking. Representative Swalwell and I just made a motion in House Intel Committee to subpoena the American interpreter during the summit, the only witness to Trump's meeting with Putin. This is an extraordinary remedy, but Trump's actions necessitated. Republicans voted it down. Yeah, don't forget to say that. Let's watch this clip here.
Mr. Schiff, the ranking member, is recognized for his opening comments.
I thank the chairman. Before we turn to the subject of the challenge posed by China, there is another issue that our committee members wish to raise concerning a more proximate threat from Russia. As we have all borne witness to over the last few days, the president had I think charitably can be described as a disastrous summit with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki. And one of the issues that has come about as a result of the public comments he has made during that summit is what took place during the private 2-hour meeting that the president had alone with Mr. Putin. This is an extraordinary circumstance in which the president did not want his national security advisor, John Bolton, present, did not want his CIA director present or his Secretary of State present, but instead chose to go into that meeting alone. It appears that there were commitments made in that meeting that affect American national security interests. It also, I think, is incumbent on us, given what the president said publicly that was of such great concern to our country, to our NATO allies, that we find out what was said privately. For that reason, we moved to subpoena the interpreter to come before our committee. I regret that we have to raise this at today's hearing. We have requested a business meeting next week, but that request has been declined. This may be our last opportunity before we go into an extended recess to vote to subpoena the interpreter and find out whether there are any other national security problems that arose from this meeting that the U.S. Congress needs to be aware of. It is our motion that the interpreter be subpoenaed to come and testify in closed session before our committee. And I would like to yield to Mr. Swalwell for the purposes of...
Did you make a motion, or...?
I am making a motion, yes, and I would like to...
This is, as you know, Mr. Schiff, this is a hearing, and the only motion you can make is a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, my motion is that we subpoena the interpreter, that we have her come and testify in closed session. This is an extraordinary remedy, I realize, but then it's extraordinary for the President of the United States to ask all of the senior staff essentially to leave the room and have a private conversation with an adversary, and then in a public conversation disavow his own intelligence agencies, and in many respects disavow his own country. Under those extraordinary circumstances, I think this remedy is warranted, and I move that we subpoena the interpreter.
Second.
So the gentleman has made a motion pursuant to the public notice of July 11th, 2018. Today's committee meeting was noticed as a hearing to gather testimony related to China's threat to American government and private sector research and innovation leadership, not the transaction of business. Accordingly, the chair cannot entertain such a request.
Unbelievable. Do you think Adam Schiff suffers from Trump derangement syndrome? You think? Along with all the Democrats. I mean, this is just so disgusting. Just so disgusting what's taking place in our country today. I mean, it's like enough is enough already. Lock these people up. They're guilty of many crimes. Lock them up and let's move on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.